Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is where you are, and welcome back to another episode on the Annoyed Dad channel. We are now coming to the end of November, and I thought as we're coming to the end of November, hello chickens, that we would do a season roundup basically. What's happened this year, what's gone good, what hasn't gone good, what's going to change for next year, what should we be doing, and you can leave me your comments down below about what you think I've done and haven't done and ought to have done and should have done. So to start off with, you can see there is stuff going on. This is all coming up in upcoming videos. There's H5N1 and H5N8 about all of the avian bird flu, avian influenza. It's about, so we're getting ready because we've got a feeling all the birds are going to be put into lockdown again. So we're just getting ready to go with that basically. So where should we start? Should we start off with stuff that's gone wrong this year? So what has gone wrong this year? Number one, chickens. Chickens have gone very, very wrong this year. You may recall we have now owned this place for about 18 months. And I said from the very, very beginning at the start, this place has to pay for itself. That being, any money which is coming in has to cover our outgoings. So where we're spending out for stuff, for the feed, for the animals and everything else like that, we need to have enough money coming in to be able to cover that. Because I don't want to do it just as a hobby where I'm always paying out and constantly having to pay the whole time. For the last 10 days or so, I've been in isolation. One of my kids had the positive test for the convids, and because I'm not double jabbed, the rules here are if you're not double jabbed and a person you live with gets it, you have to go into isolation. So I had to go into isolation. I knew it was coming. So I went down to our local feed store where I'd heard the music years before. So I went down there and I brought what I believed was enough for a week. So basically 6 bags of feed. That's wheat, layers, pellets and mixed corn. They all work out to be roughly £10 a bag. So I got 6 bags. It lasted me a week. 7 days exactly. So we're talking roughly £60 a week to be able to feed everything here. Now this year we have hatched out a lot of chickens. I'm not sure why, but a lot of the chickens we hatched out this year have turned out to be cockerels. So if you look in here, you see the black and white ones with the red heads. They are light Sussexes. There are 6 in here that we hatched out from our own eggs. 5 are cockerels, 1's a hen, which is a bit annoying really. They all come off of the big boy over the back there. So we've had these hatch out. We've had banthams hatch out. You would have seen that we've done other ones where we didn't know what to expect and other bits and pieces like that. And we have tried to sell the birds. That was part of the business plan. Let's sell the birds and they will bring in some money. Selling birds this year has been nigh on impossible. Laying eggs, again, nigh on impossible. Nobody seems to want them this year. We just cannot get rid of them. Well, we can get rid of them if we offer them up for free or really, really cheap, but then you still get messed around by people. So I've had to slaughter more birds than I was expecting to this year, which is highly unfortunate. Now, because of this, I've looked at chickens and I've sort of reevaluated, because we've got more in here. These are more of the wife's things, so they're like the naked necks, but they're in there keeping Stephen company, and there's some Jersey Giants and other things. Plus the other issue is, you may recall that we have got a honesty box up at our old place where we used to be. And there's a lovely lady up there who rings me up and says, "You're out of eggs, can you bring up some more eggs?" And I'll say, "Yep, sure," and I go up there with some more eggs. And that's been working out sort of okay. Each time I go up there with maybe 10 to 20 boxes of half a dozen eggs. They sell for £1.50. So you go up there with them and you place them in and you look at the honesty box, the money box. And if I say the money box is a nesting box for a budgie's nesting box. So all it is just basically a little box, and it's got a slidey door on one side and a hole where the budgie would fly in and out. And obviously the slidey door is if you want to get your hand in there and clean it out. And oh, he's going off up there, and scoop it out and that. Anyway, I use that for the money. So times I go up there when I'm told it's empty, I'll open it up and there might be like a £5 in there. Whereas really it should have been between £15 and £30. And you're like, okay, that's not quite right. And then there's other times I go up in there and the box will be over there in the honesty box and the slidey door will be over there. So it's clearly been moved by someone. Someone's clearly been in there and done something. And then there's other times I'll go up there and I'll see a person up there and I tell them to do this, but it isn't working as honestly as I thought it would do. I tell them if I'm ever not there, just crack on, grab the eggs, and if you haven't got the change, don't worry about it, just pay me as and when you do. And then I will see people up there and oh yeah, I owe you for some egg boxes, man. And you're like, okay, how many do you owe me for? 7, 4. You know, yeah, okay, all right, whatever. So I'm going to stop that. I've had enough of it. It's causing more hassle than it's worth, and it just isn't earning enough to actually cover the feed. So I'm thinking next year we are going to have like a limit for the chickens. So these guys can stay, they're layers. These guys here, banthams, unless they're anything special, like there's a silky and a couple of naked necks and maybe the lavenders, anything else goes, get rid of it. These guys here, all the boys are going in the freezer, so that's not a problem over there. The ones over the back, they can stay because they're a little breeding group. But just cut right down on number of chickens. They're costing me more than what they are bringing me in. And I'm not going to keep up with that. That has been one of the biggest letdowns this year, other than the bees, but that's because of the weather and everything else like that. So that's the chickens. I will still be hatching chickens, don't worry, because obviously we've got the naked necks and we'll be doing other bits and pieces. So that will still be going forward. But shall we look at something that's worked this year, that worked out really, really well? And he's just there. Mr. Gobbler, as I like to call him, or Christmas, as the families call him, because apparently Mr. Gobbler might be a bit rude. But anyway, that's Mr. Gobbler, and he has done fantastic this year. We had some turkeys, as you would have seen in earlier videos, some turkey poults, but we would have had a lot more. We had about 50 of their eggs that were in our curfew incubator in the shed, which for some unknown reason, I'm not sure if the shed got hot and it then got hot, but either way, it got too hot in there. It ended up getting up to about 45 degrees. So all of those 50 eggs were just wiped out instantly. Obviously not very good. So for next year, we're going to be using slightly different incubators. And hopefully we'll get some more turkeys. But they sold really, really, really well. I was highly surprised. The geese, you can see just over the back there. I'm not going to go around there. We have hatched the geese, but we haven't sold any this year yet. And we're sort of umming and ahhing what we're going to do with them. We are going to keep what we've got, but what do we do next year? We're sort of not decided just yet, but we'll go forward from there. The ducks are my son's, and they're his basically, so I'm not allowed to touch them, they're off limits. Although every time we order a Chinese, he orders crispy duck, but he won't let me take one of his ducks and turn it into crispy duck. You know, I don't get it either. But yeah, next year, more turkeys. That is going to be the big thing. We've got 3 girls in there. We lost a girl, I think she was done by the rats. We sold Jake, which was the other turkey that looks like Mr. Gobbler. That's gone off. He's actually looking really good. He's looking as good as Mr. Gobbler. So yeah, we've got the 3 girls in there. They should produce numerous eggs. So next year, hopefully, we'll have quite a few turkeys. This area has just been a dumping ground. Something big this way comes. You have to wait and see. So this is the orchard, as you know. And in the orchard, there are currently lots of birds running around. We got a couple of turkeys, late hatchers. They're going to be no good for Christmas. You know, you wouldn't even get a turkey popper out of that one, let alone anything else, or a turkey twizzler. But all of these, well, not all of them, the large fowl birds here, so most of them, are hatched out of our laying flock that we were just in with, and these have been hatched purely for meat birds. There are some other banthams in here, which I think are just useless banthams. They're not going to do anything. We're not going to do anything with them. Like these ones here, there's just nothing there. And as I've explained previously, you just can't sell them at the minute. You can't get rid of them. You can't do anything. You'll also see that we've got cage going in here as well. That's a part of an upcoming video. We'll explain why we're doing that and how we're doing that and everything else like that. But also what we've got in here is a lot of fruit bushes, and we've covered this in the past because this place was massively overgrown when we first brought it. Now this year I had other birds in here, not these guys, other ones, so I didn't get hardly any of the crop off of them. And there is black currants, there's red currants, there's white currants, and there's a bit of rhubarb over there, and there's a few other bits and pieces. The other problem I have with them is that I can't get near to them because they're so big and bushy to actually get the lawnmower around them. So what I've decided is I'm going to dig all of them up, dig up the lot of them and move them somewhere else. This is the right time of year to do it. So we'll dig them all up and we'll get them moved. As well as digging up these and moving these, we will also dig up bits like this. So this is something's honeysuckle. That's its proper technical name. I'll probably put it up on the screen now so as you're able to see it. But it's a hedge plant. So like where we've got the hedge there, for whatever reason over the years of abandonment in this place, it's grown here and it's grown there. So it's not actually growing in the hedge, it's expanding the hedge as if it were. And you can see I've got a piece here and I've got bits and pieces all the way down the back there, as well as other fruit bushes and other bits and pieces. So they are all going to be dug up and they are all going to be moved along with this here. This is a plum. That's a plum tree, and there's no other plum trees around here, so I can only presume it's from where a bird has pinched a plum off of another one and the seed has fallen and then that sprouted up a tree. But we'll get that dug up. See, that's another whip there or something. So we'll get all of these dug up and we'll get them moved, and we will move them all over here. So you can see where I've already moved a couple. So there's one, two, there's a little one in there and a little one just down there. So what I want is a hedge right the way along here, made up of that stuff as well as some other bits I'll explain in just a second. And because we got the bees, I want a hedge right the way down here to protect the back of the bees. Not too bothered about being in front, because obviously we got the hedge there. The prevailing wind we get actually comes from that direction straight at you, so off of the English Channel straight across, because as I've said before, we're within spitting distance of the sea, although I'd love to see you spit that far. So anyway, hedging going in down the back, so I want to move everything to do that. Plants, you can see where I've already dug some up. This will be shown in another video just how big these things actually were. They were humongous. I didn't realise that a blackcurrant bush could actually get that big. And you can see we've got some in down here already. There are more to go in, as you've seen, more to dig up, more to bring over, more to do. So that brings us on to what we're going to do next year, because this place has to pay for itself. As I said, £60 a week for the feed for the birds. We'll go and see if we can get the geese over here. Works out there or thereabouts to be about £3,000 per year just to keep the birds. And if they're not earning me that, then we need to do something about it. And bear in mind that £60 is just for the adult birds. That's not including the starter crumb, growers pellets, because all of that's ended. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping as I'm walking. It's not very polite really, is it? So, what are we going to do for next year? Well, I've sat down, I've had a think, and I've been over everything, and I've looked at stuff, and I've tried to work out how I can make this place pay. Because as you will know, if you've watched a long time, you'll know I've always said it needs to do something. Last year, for my birthday, I believe, I got brought some plants. Gooseberry plants, 5 of them. And they're in with the chickens at the minute, not for much longer, because they'll be coming here. The person who brought them for me left the price on them, so I was able to see how much they were. And to be honest, I was rather surprised. I was like a bit, whoa, okay, I didn't realise they were quite that much. And you may also recall, if you're a long time watcher, down in the far corner there is a hedge that has gone in. It's still quite small, it's only up to about ankle height, well, in between ankle and knee height. That was holly trees, bushes, however you want to describe it. I know how much I paid for them. At home, out the front of my house, you would have never seen it obviously, or you might have done if you know who I am. Out the front of my house there is a laurel hedge, and I planted that. I paid for the trees, they came in, I planted it. All the way around the farm here, we have got hawthorn, we have got blackthorn, and a few other different types of hedging. And I can go onto the interwobble and I can have a look and I can see how much all of those cost. So the plan for next year is we're going to give it a go, and I think we're going to dive into it and just see what we can do. This is me in the editing suite, and my God, don't I waffle on a lot. Anyway, what I totally failed to say whilst I was waffling along so much with all of this is that we're going to start a little plant nursery, mainly doing hedging plants and fruit bushes to start off with. You know, it's a little bit of extra income. Anyway, back to me and some waffle. Because we got the bees are part of the business plan, and we can expand the bees and we can do various stuff with the bees, and my job means I now get free bees as and when they start swarming again next year. I was offered some this year, but circumstances didn't work out that I was able to get them all, so that's fine. So the bees are part of the business plan for the place. So that's honey. We're going to have all of these bushes put in, which is going to create us fruit. The other thing the bushes do is they grow, and red currant, black currant, white currant are incredibly easy to start new plants. Incredibly. You just take your cuttings, we can cover that in other videos, and we can create more plants for those. Every single hedging plant I've just mentioned, the holly, blackthorn, hawthorn, laurel, that other stuff whose name I can't remember but whose name I put on the screen earlier, again, can all be made into new plants. So I'm thinking I've got 2 acres here in this field. Ignore the horses, you know, they can just be turned into burgers for the barbecue for next year. I wouldn't mind doing that at all. So I've got this whole 2 acre field. Why the hell don't I use it for something more productive? I thought it was going to feed the ducks, feed the geese and everything else like that when we got here, but that is my mistake. It isn't, and it isn't working out that way. They need more feed than I had allowed for, and I've got more heads than what is ideally practical, as if it were. So where I'm moving everything out of there from where it was eaten by the chickens, I'm going to put it into here, I'm going to grow it in here, and then we'll do other bits and pieces. So that's my plan for next year. I hope you guys are coming along for the ride. If you haven't already done so, do hit that subscribe button, because we're going to film it like we filmed everything here with what we're doing. Yes, we do get big gaps where we go maybe 6 weeks, maybe 2 months without a video. That's because there's nothing happening. You know, I'm not one of those YouTubers who's just going to put up a video and say, hello, today I'm doing what I done yesterday. Isn't this fun? No, absolute waste of time. So yeah, so that is what we're going to do. So if you've got any ideas, leave them down below. If you've got any suggestions, leave them down below. Let me know. Talk to me. If you've watched this far in the video, well done. Thank you ever so much. Plants, pots, other bits and pieces. What you don't actually know is that with my job, I get to go around loads of properties, and I mean loads of properties. And the properties I go around to are places where if I see something, like say, for example, this is what I call an ice plant. I don't know what its proper name was, but if I was to see that somewhere, or the lavender or anything else like that growing, I can take cuttings because I'm allowed to. So I can expand what we're doing and do other bits and pieces like that. Plus, when we clear out places, we get all of the pots and everything else like that which come out of them. I believe we've got some commercial ones in the pipeline that might be coming to us very soon. Oh, and a few weeks back we cleared out a place where they grew tomatoes, you know, under lights with all of the ventilation and in little tents like they do where they grow tomatoes. So there was plenty of pots that we came out of with that, and they're all stored away. So yeah, that's my plan, that's my idea. I'm going to give it a go anyway. Will it work? Who knows? The chickens didn't work. That was just a total non-starter. We've lost money with that. But hey ho, I've got food in the freezer. The kids have enjoyed it. The wife's enjoyed it. So that's been good fun. We'll still be hatching chickens next year, but not as many. We'll be hatching more turkeys, absolutely. We'll be hatching more geese, 100%. Ducks, I'm not too sure on just at the minute, but we will go from there. So anyway, I am starting to waffle. I'm sure you've had enough of listening to me. So go off, have a cup of tea, have a wee, whatever it is you've been dying to do whilst you've been listening to me talk. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment and share me with your friends. I won't object one bit. And until next time, thanks so much for watching and bye-bye.